Hey guys, Booligan here with Booligan Shooting Sports. Today I was really hoping to be able to show you two complete functional new firearms that I've been working on, but unfortunately I'm still waiting on parts and parts kits. However, I still wanted to be able to at least give you guys a little teaser of some stuff that I'm working on, so I decided to put together this quick video just to show you some projects that you're going to see completed in the next, realistically, week or so, just depending on when parts arrive. First off is this thing. Notice I'm kind of holding it together because I don't have any of the parts in it. What is this thing? This guy is a remix of Ivan's 3011 design. Now, if you're not familiar with the 3011, it is a 1911 slide and barrel, custom rails, and the whole thing is fired using an AR-15 fire control group. Kind of weird, but I kind of love it because kind of weird is kind of my style. Included in the release package was a remix that included a handguard and an upper shroud to sort of hide the big chunky 1911 barrel that's sticking out the front. I really liked that remix. I obviously really liked Ivan's work, but I wanted to put my own spin on it and tweak it just a little bit cosmetically, not really too much functionally, because Ivan's functionality is pretty much 100% of the time. The guy does amazing work. But I wanted to tweak a couple of things to fit my aesthetic. So first I reshaped the front of the magazine well here. Before it's just sort of a constant radius curve. And it looks fine, but I like being able to add the ability some grip panels here, some ribs on the front to make it just a little bit easier to grip up there at the magazine well. And also just because I think this looks better for me. I didn't do any changes to this piece. It's a two-piece and it's all fitted loose right now because the hardware that attaches it attaches through the rails. So this didn't need any changes at all. I just tweaked the handguard a little bit, just cosmetically and functionally, kind of made it one piece instead of having a separate piece that attaches at the front, and added a couple of ribs and a hand stop at the front just to make it a little bit more comfortable and safer to use. I had a bunch of people ask what sights these are on this piece, and these are just like some airsoft grade Evo 3 sights that I had sitting around, and they may or may not stay on there, but they seem to work. At the rear of this is obviously a Picatinny mount, just so you can attach any brace option you would like, or a sling mount or whatever. And the grip is from, I feel bad because I always forget his Twitter moniker. I think it's like 4F Technology. This is kind of one of his older grips, but I really like the angle and the size on it. It's got a good palm swell, and the texturing on there is nice. Fits really, really well with this guy. So this will be completed using a 1911 slide and barrel and other parts from Sarco, and that's going to be showing up, I think, on Monday. So next week that should be showing up along with the rails that are from MAF. So the maker of wind chimes and things that we all know and love. MAF makes the rails for these, and it should bolt together quite nicely and make quite a nice, should be relatively soft shooting and handy little large format pistol. So this is project number one. We need a good name for this. It's a 3011. The upper body kit, the barrel shroud and the rear shroud, whatever you want to call it, was designed by Mr. Durden, and it's actually part of the release. Part of the formal release on Gabalog includes these, not my customized versions, but includes these versions. But we got to come up with a good name for this, so feel free to put any suggestions in the comments. The next one that I'm working on, I'm really gonna have to hold this thing together because there are nothing holding this thing together. This one is kind of cursed, both visually and in the process of printing it. There goes the mag because there's no mag release. This is a G26. See, literally the slide is just sitting on top. This is a Glock 26 slide and barrel and a Print Your 2A frame. When I released the block G26, that super stupid gun. It's an idiotic gun that I came up with that was basically just a Glock 26 but a rectangle. I had so many comments, so many comments saying, oh, if you add a magwell up front, that would actually make it more functional. It would be awesome. Add a magwell, add a spare mag up front, add a spare mag up front. So I added a spare mag up front. This is the first one that I printed failed completely. It had like multiple layer shifts along the way and failed. Like I aborted it at like, half an inch off the deck. This one I ran and it seemed to be going pretty well. It had some pretty nasty Z-banding, but it's a prototype. I don't really care as long as it's strong. And then when I checked on it, I didn't check on it before the overnight stretch of the print, and it ended up with this kind of nasty layer shift. This whole bottom part shifted forward about 1 millimeter. So that's a pain in the butt. So I switched to the G code, and I switched even the machine. This was printed on my Ender 3 version 2. I decided to print it on my Anycubic Viper, and that failed with a radical layer shift, something I've never had a problem with on my Viper. Really never had any layer shift problems on my Ender 3 either, but for whatever reason, this file is cursed. And it did a layer shift like right around here. So it got a 1/4 inch up and then shifted over like 5 or 6 millimeters. So I resliced it and started it again and came back a few hours later and it had done it again in the same spot. So I either have a heating issue that's causing, because I'm playing with fan speeds more for stronger prints, so I either had a heating issue that caused it to do something weird that can happen. It can hit a certain thermal point where it can kind of bug out the board. That's usually not supposed to be a problem on most of these since you have separate fan controllers, but it is a thing that can happen. Or it might just be mechanical interference. Either way, I had to come into work at the real job, and I'm gonna play around with that more this weekend. But regardless of that, even this guy, this one with this like 1 millimeter forward layer shift, shockingly the magazine fits in it. So I might actually be doing some function tests with this. One thing I do need to do, I forgot to chamfer or angle this magwell for the G26 magazine, and it doesn't go in enough, and I want this to be able to work with G26 magazines. So I am actually going to be doing some redesign work on this today anyways, to kind of make it work a little bit better. So overall, this stupid thing is cursed, both visually cursed and apparently functionally cursed. I can't get it to print correctly. But a couple of the features on this, everyone always, you can't have a front grip on a pistol because that makes it an AOW. That's correct, unconstitutional, but correct. And this isn't a front grip. It actually has several things in place to make it so you can't use it as a front grip. First off, it's angled, which that means it's not a vertical grip. Second, it has no texturing features to aid, assist, or imply that you are to use this as a grip. If you were to use this as a grip, you are in very danger zone. You can't wrap your thumb around it at the top because there's not enough space, and you will literally pull the trigger if you stick your thumb in there. And you can't really wrap your thumb around the bottom because it has this rib designed to block that. So to my agent watching, sorry to disappoint. No gotcha moment for you today. This isn't an AOW. But yeah, this will be seeing some tweaks here today, and we'll run another print, hopefully less cursed, in the next couple of days, and we'll see some functional firearms. This one is also waiting on some parts. I had to order an additional lower completion kit and an additional magazine release for the second magazine release up here. So yeah, this kind of weird looking guy will be coming pretty soon. As with all my files, you guys know how I release stuff. I don't need to really tell you, but they all get released early on BooliganShootingSports.com to my all access subscribers and above. And then they get released publicly for free on Booligan Custom Gunworks, which is the website that links to my Odyssey page. So there you have it, some really interesting things. we need some names on these. As I said, we need a name for this, and we need a name for this guy. This guy has that kind of low-hanging bit in the front that kind of makes it look like an anglerfish, but anglerfish is a terrible name, and I don't want to call this the G26 AF, but I might call it the G26 AF because it is kind of G26 AF. But yeah, thanks for all your guys' support, for watching these videos. Watching and engagement helps. Obviously, YouTube doesn't care to push this type of content, so I appreciate you guys sticking through the video and watching and engaging. And yeah, stay tuned for updates on this. As always, thanks for watching.